Number one, change your ayam goreng into the tandoori. You change your roti telur, you change that into chapati. It's your swapping, right? So teh ice into teh o ice, right? And so different things to switch, then you have a healthier life. In the first 2 days, got 10,000 shares. It was going crazy. By the end of the week, it's got like I don't think it touched 6 digit, but it's 5 digit high worth of shares. So it could be that kids' educational content. You may have like a series, a calendar over a whole year. Every week there's a new infographic going around that 5 vegetables your kid will make your kid stupid. You know, I'm not a young parent. But maybe your agencies or your team. But was that really a dumb example?
Yes.
How do you know?
Oh yeah.
So what would be a good example? What would be a good example of like a content vehicle that goes in Facebook groups that gets young moms really riled up or engaged? Give me a content example.
Photo competition for.
And then just throw this. Content marketing should be in line, should be where it's contextual with what the users are. So that's why target audience is very important. And it has to be distributed virally. It has to have some virality to it. If not, then it's just another.
Traditional brand campaign.
Exactly. You create a TVC campaign and put a buying on it. It's not content marketing per se. So.
Don't scare them with those words. So our budget will shrink. We're basically saying do what you've always been doing, but let's do it smarter, reach more people in a more engaging way. Take the word content marketing. Maybe that would be one of the ways. Now I'll tell you the reason why I think this may be a good idea, and why you notice this as well. It's because a lot of the back then when I was a media owner, I had one biscuit owner, Julie's Biscuits. He's like a SME but very big. He sells a lot of biscuits. He has no agency at all. Through a friend, I was invited to go and pitch his agent. So he's like, oh, in Chinese he's like, oh, 人跟人讲哦，对对对哦. So he's like really like people tell people. He was like really popular. I didn't use the word social media in the entire presentation because I don't know what social media, how you say it in Mandarin.
Now you know?
No, I still don't know. I still don't know, man. What am I doing here? Where am I doing this?
I have no idea.
Does anyone know what's social media in Mandarin?
Or any other language?
Urdu? Okay, but so I think it's interesting because like sometimes the words we use are semantic blocks for people to move. A lot. Okay, I'm going to digress a bit. I'll come back to this. But why are capitalists in this world afraid of the word sustainable? Why do a lot of large businesses not want to do things which are sustainable? People have been talking about the word sustainable for years, but large organizations don't like to invest in things which are sustainable. Why?
That's one thing about the beauty about the digital. Is basically after you measure it, you will know like which one is work or which one is not work. I think like Red Bull, when the first time they tried, doesn't mean it hit a jackpot right away. They keep trying and trying and trying, and they're strategizing what content, what is actually delivered. Then they start like, they know the sweet spot, then they start like doing it. I mean, that's what publishers think. Every time we create content, we always measure it. How many viewers? 10,000, 50,000? If it's 50,000, why? That's the question. It's not like, yay, EP, 50,000 views, but we gotta find out why is the 50,000 views. Where is it from? Who's clicking it? What audience it is? And what type of audience it actually will be. So with that, we learn ourselves to make it a better content in the end.
I think what's really beautiful about mediums, each of these mediums already have their own metrics. So we don't actually have to create a new metric. The planners know how to measure a brand campaign going across multiple integrated campaign, right? Like planners really know how to have, I hope so, right? That you guys really have measurements across an integrated campaign. So we just use the same measurements, except that to Anthony's very important point, is that if you're just spending on banner ads, just going to just trying to interrupt people with banner ads, and not taking that into the native experience of being in the content stream, then the argument would be you're going to have the same metric on how many impressions thought you have on a banner ad. But my argument, and I think it's a strong industry-wide argument, is if your content, instead of a banner ad, it's actually a content, you get the same amount of impressions, which one gets more attention? The argument is the content will get more attention versus the banner ad. You get the same amount of impressions on the same page. In Mobi and Native X, they announced very big same kind of product. They said that they can take one kind of IAD unit of a certain like artwork, and they will use their technology to translate it into 1,000 different formats for 1,000 different apps. So it doesn't show up as a banner in Candy Crush, it just shows up as a tile. In a book, in a kind of like a book app, a bookshelf app, it shows up as a book instead of a banner app.
Which how do we measure in terms of the success of each of our content that we created in a publisher role? Which is something we talk about the time span that people go through each of our content being created. So that kind of measurement should also be part of not creating a new measurement, it's already stick there. It's already part of an internal measurement of how a publisher can be successful. Right? And then you talk about how many unique users that goes there, and is it the right audience? And then you can use the third party, right? Or you can use whatever, Millward Brown or whatever, do a brand index study, or then you can do that kind of like combine between a new stats, which is about page view, time span, unique users, and is it effective enough when you're doing a calendar? Because now you're talking about calendar content.
And audience is what? What does the audience segment consume? Is that what it was? Audience content consumption habits, right? I'll just put audience content, right? Content they consume. Okay, what's step 2? Step 1, I mean. So the content strategy slash vision slash formula? Did you say formula? No. I thought you did. Content strategy. Okay. Step 2. We failed as industry. This is over, man. I give up. You guys are worthless. Useless.
I remember step 3.
What's step 2, guys? Yeah, adapting the content strategy to the channels, right? Channels and platforms. Step 3.
Just gonna add on where, but also when. Because it's all about real-time marketing now, right? So we gotta think about the timing of, what content goes out on a certain time.
Step 4. Align measurements. Agree on measurements. And I would add over here is try not to invent too many new ones.
Then the
Yeah,
brand will
KPI
accuse
overload,
us.
KPI confusion.
But the brand will accuse us to not being innovative. The brand will say, why you guys never use
Then you tell them we live in an age of simplification. Consumers have too many choices. You have too many choices. Okay, is there a number 5? There's no number 5, was it? Okay, if we were to add a number 5 here together as Stream Jogjakarta, copyrighted by Stream Jogjakarta, this framework, what would be number 5?
What about driving revenue?
I guess driving revenue is the overarching purpose of why we're doing it, right?
Director,
Yes.
I'm asking you, best people in the planet talk about you.
Come next.
Start with this. It's tough to be a manager. I mean, both of us have a very different background. We're most of the time it's entrepreneur, it's built company from zero, and thought people invest in your company. Well, myself is never in the entrepreneurial one. I always work in a corporate, very structures, very KPI, and now I'm working in a local company, which is more like a family, MNC group. Before I used to be Microsoft, Yahoo, IBM, all that stuff where people talk about bureaucracy, people talk about people development. Now flipping to the other side, I think this will be a good thing that just to share. We start only like 2 months now in MNC, but again, I can already sense that not a lot of people are very tuned to have a KPI being assigned to them as a KPI. When you talk about KPI, they're talking about, am I going to get fired? The notion is that as a manager, you want to talk to them, this is the KPI for you to be success. From their angle, this is the KPI to sack me. So that's kind of things that even as experienced managers, experienced leaders, that this is the tough things that we face. And
Yeah, before we start, can we get a survey? Which one is the manager? Who's the manager? Who's the as manager? You're a manager?
everybody's a
Every
manager.
manager. So, who's the people that you manage?
You've got other factors that are more important to your job.
So, if I conclude it, it's really about unfairness.
Outside of the office, we were very close. But at the time when I became their boss, we have to set a distance. And sometimes it spill out outside of the office.
So it's trusting.
Your boss, and you've got to trust and empower good people to do the job more than you do it yourself. So believing that they're able to do it and let it go
have the same vision to deliver an objective to the company, then it will be a good partnership between the team. So I'm saying boss and the subordinate, it's a teamwork. So having the same vision is, I think, one of the goals that every company needs to be.
It's actually when this team getting bigger is when I started having a bad communication, and it's also like lost in control, right? I mean, like, why can you do it? That's a simple And actually when I realized it with the 7 years, is I realized it's actually like, look, everybody has stuff, everybody has weaknesses. Maybe we always expect everybody like us, like capital. But the problem is, why I'm sitting down in the top of the organization is the reason because I have my strength, and everybody at work, to me, is actually like they have some different strength and they have weaknesses too. So I try to actually balance myself to basically to lower my expectation. That's number one. Take a deep breath and lower my expectation. And I'm really understanding what actually your team is doing. One is the strength and the weaknesses. I myself witness on the finance, operation, and all the rest besides the creative. And that's why, I know myself, so I basically ask Anthony here is to be my partner. To manage all this operation, because I cannot stand all this, form and all the administration and dealing with this administration people. They don't get my. And sometimes you have to do things hard way. But it's not working that way. People resign. People leave. And that's why I said, you know what? I'm done with this. Managing people, all the deal. I'm not going to see you. So I become like a party leader.
Does anyone here in this room experience the same situation? And how do you comprehend?
But all the way to even the CEO level is very hard. What we do actually, not to focus too much on the content, because there will be always somebody gonna pay higher. Always. It's always like that. We've got people hijack 3 times salary. We've got people hijack double the salary. I'm not gonna ask why you leave because you just left. But you can share your experience later why you leave. But exactly. But what we try to do a lot of times, I'm not gonna spend too much of the culture and everything, but we try to do is try to make sure they understand the why what we are doing, why we are doing it, and why they are part of what we are doing it. give them a why, a vision or an objective that they feel aligned with what they want. So by keeping that why, the rest becomes a bit of, secondary.
Like find out from them where they want to go, and then
Career development.
absolutely, it's something that is very badly done in many companies. That means an awful lot to people. If they can actually see some sort of direction, so even if their friend at another company is earning more, they can see that there is an end game. They're learning more at the same time.
Also in places like India where I worked for a couple of years, because there's so much growth and there's so many opportunities for younger people to jump ship, and often the perception is, or the driver is money. But if you can demonstrate through these sort of things, and you actually have to stick to it. So if you're going to develop a career plan and it has milestones, you have to make sure you deliver on those, because then you very quickly lose faith. But then it's all, if people are there just for the salary, then it's a means to an end. If they're there for the journey of the company and the career, then it's a longer term thing. So you have to be able to make that very clear and stick to your commitments.
Beside of the career development plan that we already have, so the extra effort in making them trust the manager to actually share them. So it's okay that we're getting job offers. It's okay. It's not a sin. It's okay to talk about it with the manager.
I feel like, in a lot of corporate world, we usually have appraisal done once a year, or even half. Most of the time, I think by the time you do appraisal and by the time you want to recount the highlights or the good accomplishment the team has done, or any areas of weaknesses, it's kind of like on the high side. What I try my best to do, and I'm, sometimes pick myself in the butt for not being disciplined enough to do, is to really make time to do a constant one-on-one. Your one-on-ones are really, really important. You need to make time. I need to make time, and I think those are the one-on-ones that you create trust. You create that you're listening. You're trying to really understand the problem, because if you only evaluate after 6 months, most of the time it's one point of view. I have my own managers evaluating me and hearing things that he or she said, which is perhaps not true for what had happened, and I try to then defend myself. It's a bit too late. I think that creates a lot of conflict as well. It's really unnecessary. So
I think to connect between that topic around the young workforce growing in a gamified world and the topic that a lot of managers in the corporate world are not objective. One idea would be gamifying the workplace using P2P recognition. So rather than having a top-down approach, create a platform where each of us can share our recognition. So an example would be putting out the values, whether it's trust, delivery, integrity, and being able to give a kudos recognition from each other and have that as another benchmark to evaluate. So it's essentially a 360 approach of evaluation, but using the P2P mechanism.
I think it's like co-founder of Southern now, and the late director for the HBO, and it's me. So these three people basically super talented, but they basically really didn't pay attention, because at that time we training for the chances, but we never get it. So the attention of like recognizing our talents is not like fulfilled. So making time for your team is important, and also the culture.
It's really great. Let's talk about it from a startup point of view. Like you mentioned, the current vision, why you want to stay, but for fresh grads, it's like short term. Like think about short term. How do you figure that?
So also they working in Asia. So what we feel is the culture is different in Asia. I've been like working from banks, retails, and everything. Totally different, because sometimes even Tony also like can talk to us directly, inspires, blah blah blah. Then he shares a lot of things, even on a management meeting. And the way that we do, not always had all the managers in that meeting. Sometimes he gather everyone, sit down, what is your problem? Or even he go to the ground staff, he asks, and that's the way he is. Then it's building. I mean, it's just like we got inspired. The head got inspired. The staff get inspired. Then it's the way it is. It's the way like way we teach our staff, and then just make sure if they always come to work with the passions, because I think the passion is number one. because sometimes, like you guys said, is sometimes the well, if they got offer this and blah, like 3 times salary, but if they still have a passions working in that company, they will go to work with a smile and just manage expectations what the boss manage. Like also sometimes we are really demanding sometimes as a boss, really demanding, especially working like in airlines industry. Like you need to say, you need to make decisions very fast sometimes I don't know, is it the right decisions? That's the way that we treat like that. This is the right decision or this is the wrong decision, but we just do it. Then make sure that we responsible on that, and the stuff is just like gathered to us, make okay, this is the right thing. That's the way that in Asia is the way like that, because the culture is already built like that from the beginning.
I think it's a very... Napoleon said that whenever his general comes to him, never comes with a problem, comes with a set of options of solving those problems. Now, so what's the caveat to that? As a good manager, you need to start empowering your team. The problem is Asia culture, Indonesian culture. First, they're not willingness to say, hey, this is a set of potential solutions to your problem. Especially they're talking to their boss, especially talking like Bule, like Ed. Whatever you said coming out of your mouth, they're gonna say that probably is the right one. There's the kind of thing that happens mentally. So as like you mentioned, is that when we say that put the monkey in their bag, it's not saying that we don't solve that problem. They come to us, we should not be saying, okay, you got a problem, this is how you should solve it. That's the directive. And when things not going as planned, they're gonna say, you know what, it's you the one who makes that decision, it's not me.
And then let all the team share their thought what about it, and then he encouraged us to share our opinion of how we can solve the problem. So sometimes we think that Bang Roy don't solve our problem, but he moderate us and encourage us to we find our solution for our problem in our way, so we can be responsibility of our choice. So yes, listening is the important part, I think.
Yeah.
But sometimes people have a different meaning with the direct access, because you know, the bigger the company, that's the politics is there. You know, sometimes you just like going there directly and talk, and then it's come up at the end word, or you're talking about another your stuff on everything. So this is need also be careful with the direct access. Like we don't have also the boundaries. If you want to talk, talk. It's the way that also now we manage you manage with your team. We just like gather to the team and arguing. Sometimes we're arguing like crazy.
They have a different motivation. Why they go to work? Why they want to join? You know, so I think understanding the motivations is very important. Some kids, they want to do great things. They want to change the world. Some people just, I just want to work 8 to 5 Some people are here to make money. Money is very important. How much I make back? Some people, I want to be a CEO one day. So basically, understanding the motivations of your team members is very important. And again, that's how we must think that and start planning for them. I think when it comes to money, we can never be. Everyone will offer us 3 times, 6 times, you know? Never really enough. And all this talent, Rolling Stones, they are Rolling Stones, they just jump for 500 ringgit, sorry, I'm not really sorry. Or they jump for $1,000 in a few months' time, don't bother to hire them. Because they are not the superstar that basically helping you that business.
Yeah, we call it kutu loncat.
Yes. Yes. And
Like
also,
hopping
if definitely among all the team members, even the juniors, they are the potential superstar. It's our task, with that motivations, you know, to make them the rock star. So if they spot in terms of appraisal, the way their attitude, you know, their passion, low, don't bother you go.
But at least you've made a call. So being decisive doesn't mean being dictatorial, but it does mean that you provide clarity for your teams. Just the other point I want to make, building on this culture, because it's a critical piece. is that you can never underestimate how important the person at the top of the organisation, whether it be 2 people or 20,000, how important the way that individual interacts and just behaves himself or herself can influence the feeling of the whole corporation. Now, I used to work at GSK, which is a massive company. And when I first joined GSK, we had a very old school CEO. He was quite dictatorial, did things in a certain way, and the whole feeling of the organisation across the globe changed the minute that guy left and we had a new CEO in. And just going to the point, you said, when you first started out, you were grumpy, you were getting pissed off with people. The organisation was probably not a particular